this tutorial we're going to be looking at how to do the German twisted cast on. Here I have this little baby hat, and I cast this project on using the German twisted cast on, and here it is. It has a very similar look to the long tail cast on. You can kind of see it looks like it has this little pro bump at the beginning along with the twist. Now the German twisted cast on uses up a little bit more yarn than the long tail cast on, but because of that it has more stretch to it. So you can see I'm really stretching this hat out, and the cast on gives quite a bit, but it also is a very sturdy cast on, so when I lay it back out you can't really tell that I was stretching it out. So I'm going to show you how to cast on. I have my needle here and some scrap yarn, and like the long tail cast on, for the German twisted cast on you have to leave a long tail. Now it uses up quite a lot more yarn than the long tail cast on, so I recommend if you do the long tail cast on frequently, whatever you're planning to leave a long tail, if you were to do a long tail cast on, give yourself a little bit more. It's a problem I've had with this cast on, that I always think to leave a similar amount of tail like I would for the long tail cast on, but for the German twisted it takes up more yarn. So just whatever you'd leave for a long tail cast on, give a little bit more yarn. So how to do the German twisted cast on is very similar to the long tail cast on method, the slingshot method. So I have my yarn set up between my thumb and my index finger. I'm holding the rest on my palm, and I'm just going to put my needle in and pull it down. So for the long tail cast on, from here we would just put our needle through the loop, snag up that loop from the index finger, go back through and tighten. That's a long tail cast on. But for the German twisted cast on we do something a little bit different. So we set up our slingshot method, we pull our needle down, and now instead of going into that loop like we would for a long tail cast on, what we're going to go under both legs of that loop, and then we're going to go under one. Now we're going to grab the loop on our index finger, and now here we're going to untwist our thumb and go through it like that. And that's how you cast on with the German twisted. The twist comes in what we're doing here around the thumb. We go under both legs of that loop, we go into the loop, we grab the strand on our index finger, and now what we do here is we untwist our thumb and go through that loop. Under the thumb, through the loop, grab a loop, untwist our thumb, back through. And it's this twisting around the thumb that uses up more yarn, and the more yarn you use up in a cast on, the stretchier it'll be, the more give it'll have. Now I think the hardest part about this cast on is that second passing through the loop on the thumb. So you can see here I have to untwist my thumb. Now I'm not very good at untwisting my thumb. Like some people can get it all the way down like this and pull it through. I have a hard time doing that. So what I do is when I get to this point is, you can see here I have this like hourglass shape here, and I untwist my thumb and I go through, but instead of untwisting my thumb I keep it like this, and you can see I can just actually pass my needle through and do that without moving my thumb. I'll show you again. Instead of untwisting my thumb, I can just kind of move my needle, and I find that's easier for me. than doing that awkward movement of bending my thumb. I can just move my needle to get that extra twist in. And that is the how to cast on with the German twisted cast on method.